This is Wrestling for the Faith.
Wrestling for the Faith.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wrestling for the Faith. It's the Coach and Casey back with you. Sorry for our absence last week. We were on a honey-do list.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like, Coach. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Well, you know, we were going to the Bahamas on a cruise to please our wives. You know, they've been begging for this for a long time, so we decided to go. And in them first few days, this is where I'm talking about the honey-do list. It was like, hey, we're going to get up at 7 and be here by 7:30, and that way we can eat and then be doing this by this time and this by this time. And I'm like, did we not just, the last podcast episode that we did we not just love them up enough for them not to give us such a honey-do list on a vacation?
I thought we did. I guess we didn't do a good enough job, buddy.
So, I guess we're back to our love language, aggravation.
I think we did that last week too, buddy, while we was on the cruise.
We definitely did. So, anyway, last week we were on a wonderful cruise, had a great time. So, sorry for our absence last week. Our plan was actually we were going to get into Jacksonville, where we had a Airbnb for a couple of days, and we were planning to pre-record one to drop last week, but we got so busy with everything going on once we got down there that it just time slipped away from us, and we wasn't able to pre-record. Terry Skaggs, our buddy from Testimonies with Terry, he just texted me yesterday, and he said, so does Wrestling for the Faith have the Roman Reigns schedule now? It only shows up every now and then.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. No, we're on vacation.
Yeah. We were on vacation, but man, it was a really good time. I enjoyed it. Surprisingly, because honestly, you know, me and you, we both talked about it. We had our doubts.
Yeah.
I'd never been on one. You'd never been on one, right?
Right. First one.
And so it just didn't seem to me like, as funny as it is, as a professional wrestler, an entertainer, a preacher, all of the things that I do, it's funny to say, but my personality, truly, I'm not much of a people person.
You're not.
And so to be on a boat with, about 2,000 other people?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just didn't think it was going to be something that I would enjoy. But I actually did. We didn't really have to deal with people. You know, they were doing their own thing. We were doing our own thing. There was plenty of room for everybody. It wasn't like we were stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, surprisingly, I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
So we've been family for, I don't know, 10 plus years. That's actually the first vacation that we went. Like, we've been to places together, but
we stayed in separate places.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Yeah. So we stayed in the same Airbnb for the first 2 days, and was on the same ship. And man, we're still friends when we come
Ain't
back.
that something?
We're still family. How about Lord, Dana? We're going to find new family members probably. When we were together, we kind of did our own thing. I mean, y'all kind of of course we went out to the Bahamas. We got off the boat together, all that stuff. But we were there, but we all kind of did. Family kind of did their own thing, that was fine.
Right. Well, so like you and Dana had your own cabin. Me and Jonna had our own cabin, and then the kids had their two cabins. So, you know, we were together, but we were kind of, you know, separate, and of course could go and do as we pleased and whatever we wanted to.
Right.
The itinerary that I was just aggravating about was, you know, mainly started in Jacksonville when we got to the Airbnb. Yeah. And it was like, so we got to go to the beach. And I'm thinking, listen, we're going to be sailing on the ocean for a week. Mm-hmm. Ain't you going to get enough of this water?
Right.
But no, we got to get up early in the morning. We got to go eat breakfast, and we got to be at the beach by so and so because the sand and the water and the sun's going to disappear, after an hour. So, but anyway, there were times where we felt like we had an itinerary, and I know like Friday, I told Jonna when we went in Thursday night. I think we discussed it, Thursday evening. Before we went in, I said, I'm sleeping till whenever I get up.
Yeah.
And I didn't sleep the whole time, but it was about 10 o'clock before I actually got up and decided to get moving and get ready to go out.
That's surprising for you, buddy.
Yep. It is. But, something about when you go on vacation, I don't quite understand it. You can go on vacation and you can be as lazy as you want to. But it always seems to me like I'm more worn out on vacation than I am in regular everyday life.
Yeah. See, opposite for me, because I feel like when I'm on vacation, like I'm not tired. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, we slept, we rested. I had a great time. I felt rested. And I get back here, I'm back to the same old coach. I'm so tired now. It's like, so it's like we're kind of flipped. We kind of flip on that. I don't know, man. Just I guess it's not being here and not have to deal with everything. Just relaxing, and I guess I didn't want to. I don't want to say miss anything, but man, we're on vacation, so I'm just gonna get up. And, I slept to 7 or 8 o'clock a lot of mornings, or just laid in the bed, whatever. But I'm the opposite. When I get back, man, I'm back. I'm so tired now. Sunday we got back on like Monday, and today I'm like, here I go. I'm back in the same. I'm ready to go for another vacation.
I know.
So we're just kind of, it's different for me for resting and stuff, but it was great, man. I'm just glad we made it to Jacksonville. We had a little rough start there, pal.
30 minutes into the trip down, we get right across into the Georgia line, headed toward.
we got those stuff. We got this. I'm like, Lord, let's get there. Let's get to Jacksonville and let's help us get on the boat Monday morning.
Well, those tire lights. What for the people out there listening? What happened? What happened was we got about 30 minutes down the road. We get across into Georgia. And we're headed to Jacksonville, and this is early, about 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so 4 a.m. and get a notification on my dash that says low tire pressure, and I'm like, So pull over to the gas station. Sure enough, there's a screw in it. Put my spare on and come back to the house. Get in the garage. Fix tire or patch the tire, head back out about 5:30. So, we're back on the road. But, I've always hated those notifications. I'm glad that we had it this time. It would have probably, not knowing about it, probably, my tire would have blown apart, and that would have added a lot more time because then we would have had to wait for a place to open for us to be able to, buy a new tire or a new set. But yeah, so anyway, it looked like it was going to be off to a bad start. And that's kind of what I was thinking. Oh, Lord, are you trying to tell me not to go on this cruise?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. And y'all know me, man. I hate the interstate. I don't mind the interstate. I guess it's more Atlanta towards that area. I hate it, man.
I hate it. I hate Atlanta traffic, too.
I'm hands on the steering wheel, but I'm looking and bless. I love my wife to death, but when she's driving, buddy, she's like OCD when she's driving. She's fidgeting with everything, or scratching her arm, or looking out the window when she's driving now.
Yeah.
Fiddling with the radio, or looking at her nails. You need to pay attention, woman.
She's looking straight ahead, though, when she's in the passenger seat. When she's in the passenger seat, she's looking straight ahead.
In the passenger seat, she's straight ahead.
When she gets behind the wheel, she's got all kinds of stuff that occupies her.
I drove most of the way down, and then she drove most of the way on the way back, man. I'm like, would you just sit still and drive? Just sit still and drive. I mean, she's putting her arm up. She's doing. Oh, my back's itching. Oh, I got to itch. She's watching the road, but she's just moving around. It's like a little kid, man. I mean, she's driving me nuts. Watch these cars. They're flying 100 miles an hour. And you're just over here just fidgeting, whatever it is, man. Fingernails, hands.
What is it?
To scratch. I don't know, man.
What is it? And I know that we're probably going to get some hate mail for this. But, you know, there's always a situation, and it's, I don't know if it's just become, you know, a cliche or what, but it seems to always be true. Like a lot of times, if I'm sitting at a red light behind a car and the light turns green and there's like 10 seconds and I have to use the horn to get the person's attention in front of me, 90% of the time, what is it? It's a woman. 90% of the time, what's she doing? She's playing on her phone, playing with her radio. She's her nails, her makeup, whatever. Do this stuff at the house.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Man.
But you know, a lot of times we have these instances, and I go by and I'm like, another woman driver, or, you know, somebody cuts you off in traffic or does something silly. Yeah, I bet that's a woman driver. You get up next to them, sure enough it is. And they're still looking at their phone. They still ain't even looked at the road.
And so we had this deal. I said, when we come back, I said, you just get us to Atlanta and I'll take over. You know, she got sick that Friday night before we got off the boat with her sinus and stuff. I get that she was tired. I'm saying, I'm going to say a word. You just get us to Atlanta. So we're driving through Atlanta. I'm saying, and just things are. I'm watching. I said, listen, just get us through there. I won't say a word about you driving. And she started driving. We get halfway through Atlanta. I'm saying, you're making it very hard for me not to say that. Because you just fidgeted, man. I don't know.
Listen, I made you a promise that I wasn't going to say anything about your driving. But I'm terrified here.
I'm hitting my false brake. I'm hanging onto the handle. I guess because I'm not. I hate driving.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't always that way. You know, we had a couple of wrecks there within months' time a few years ago. So ever since then, man, I'm just like, when I'm driving on interstate, I mean,
hands on the wheel, paying attention.
I don't even know if I'm breathing. I'm just driving. I'm looking at the windows. I'm not fidgeting. I'm just straight ahead.
Yeah.
I don't even care if anybody talks to me. I just let me get to Atlanta and then we can crank up the music, we can chit chat, whatever you want to do. But she was making it very hard, and I said, I love you, honey, but you're making it very hard for me to keep quiet over here. Just we get off, eat, and we'll switch. I know you're tired, and just it's just nerve wracking sometimes.
Well,
driving with her.
As I say with Jonna, whenever I am riding with her, which is 99.9% of the time.
Right.
Like, you know, this on vacation, I usually always drive.
Yeah.
You know, if we're going to Florida, I drive to Florida. And then I don't know why. I don't know what it is. But for me, it's just that's what I do. But when we're in town, she's driving.
Right.
You know, we get to the destination, she's driving. I let her drive everywhere. And, you know, I absolutely hate driving. But like you, I kind of gripe about her driving sometimes. And, you know, one day she said, well, if you hate my driving so much, why are you not driving?
Yeah.
And I said, well, honey, I got to build my faith somehow.
Yeah. I started using that on dinner too. So, yeah. It's funny. Now, Riley boy, he's like me. So if he's, you know, she drives, I'll let him sit up front and I'll sit in the back. And he's the same way I am. He said, Mom, what do you quit fidgeting when you watch or you ring or whatever? Just, it's nothing bad. It's just, she just can't sit still and just drive. It just, I don't know. I always got to be touching. So I'm like a little kid in the story. I was just touching everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, pay attention, woman. But anyway,
all right. Yeah, we've dug ourselves a hole.
We love y'all.
But listen, we deserve it. We took them on their vacation that they've always wanted. We supported them in that. You know, got out on the ocean for 5 days, which like I said, I ended up enjoying. Didn't think I was going to, but
it was better than I expected.
Yeah. We deserve, you know, we've earned our right to go back to our love language and aggravate them some more. You know, And for anybody that don't know what that is, if you look up love languages, it's a book that was written, and it's like affection and touch and gift giving and gift receiving.
We have
and
all
everything.
that too. We have the aggravation.
But Coach and I have decided that our love language is aggravation. So we enjoy aggravating our wives, and if we were not aggravating them, they would think something was terribly wrong.
And
so
don't let them fool you. They give it back to us a lot of times. So they're not innocent in this. All right.
That's exactly right. But anyway, we've dug ourselves a big enough hole.
Yeah, we better
go ahead before we run off and forget it. I will be at Championship 1 Wrestling tomorrow night, June 10th. Bell time is 8 p.m. I believe the doors open at 6. It's 130 McDonald School Road in McDonald, Tennessee. I will be at Primetime Wrestling in Center, Alabama on June 17th. So be sure to check out those two promotions. Their Facebook, you can get the times, ticket prices, and all of that stuff. But Championship 1 Wrestling this Saturday, then next Saturday the 17th, Primetime Wrestling. Looking forward to that. Going to be a great time. If you're in those areas, be sure to come and check it out. I know we're going to have I know at least on my part,
yeah, I'm
going to throw down and have some good matches.
Yeah. Okay. So I have one more question about the cruise. We talked about this yesterday. I want to know how you lost 4 pounds when you ate 48 hamburgers. And 48 pounds of fries.
So for those who don't know, these cruises, they have like an all-day buffet of stuff. And I don't know, Guy...
I don't know how the guy for your area.
I don't know.
I butchered his last name.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but I know he's famous chef dude or whatever, and he's got a burger joint. And so there's one of those that are on the ship. There's like a Blue Iguana taco place. They have breakfast. They have a pizza place. They have all kinds of food. A deli, just regular deli sandwiches and stuff. Ice cream constantly. There's always food to eat.
Yeah.
And then that's not even your main meal. So your dinner time, you go to the dining room,
yeah.
And you can have all kinds of good stuff. And what we found out as the week went on is, you don't just have to order one main course or one appetizer or one dessert. You can order up to 3 of each. And so, me and the coach, we were eating, and I don't know how in the world this happened. But I was not, I repeat, not on any kind of Chad Lale diet.
No.
Not anywhere close.
No. And we were not even.
I don't even think I was on a Big Van Vader diet.
No.
I was eating.
We was hungry, we ate.
And so, I ate constantly. Burgers all the time. And it was automatically, you go through the line, cheeseburger and fries. There you go. Boom, 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 boom.
You can go back as many times.
You can go as many times as you want to, all day long.
And get another one. Yeah. You pick 2 up while you're there.
And this is all included in your price of admission to get on the ship, or your cruise fee. And so we're eating, and somehow, I don't know how in the world I done it. I get back. And
I just don't believe it, man. I need to know what scales to use. That way
I get back home and get up the next morning, and I go to the scales because I'm like, okay, I have ate like crap all week. So what kind of damage did I do here? How much work am I going to have to put in on the old good old cardio machine here? And somehow I had lost 4 pounds. I weighed before I left for the cruise, and then I weighed the day after we got back, and somehow I had lost 4 pounds. This was on the same set of scales, and it was on the same level ground. So I don't know how I did it, but
I don't know how you did it, brother.
But if that's what happens when I go on a cruise, then I believe I need one every week.
I believe, yeah.
Because I believe I could eat about 12 more burgers and lose more weight.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, we ate a lot of meat, but anyway, I had to ask that question, man. I was like, 4 pounds.
I couldn't tell you.
How?
Could not tell you how in the world I did that.
Okay.
But, hey, praise the Lord. I'm glad that I lost 4 pounds eating so much. Maybe I just, maybe instead of trying to focus on eating healthier, maybe I just need to go back to not caring and eating whatever I want to.
You did pretty good, man. 4 pounds in 1 week after eating all that.
I'm telling you.
So just going back to the dining room, you know, the first night they bring out this little portion. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we, like 5-year-old?
Yeah.
So the next night, the lady tells us, you know, they had a seating with another lady and her daughter. She's like, you know, I forgot to tell y'all can order up to 3 of each. You can order 3 starters.
Oh, yeah.
Or 3 main. I was like,
oh, yeah. Me and Coach looked at each other like, oh, now we're in paradise.
I was like a kid in the candy store. I was like, yes. I was worried, man. I was like, it's a little bitty steak to game, a little bitty piece of salad. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. I figure I can get 3, up to 3 of each, you know, the appetizer, starter, or dessert. I'm like, yes. And then by Wednesday night, I said, man, I'm done eating. I told you, I was like, man, I'm just done. I was just like, I ate so much. Thursday, I skipped breakfast, ate lunch. We got off at Kay's Island. Ate lunch there, and then didn't eat again that night. I felt good. I was like, all right, now I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to skip breakfast the next morning, man. I was just so tired. I can't eat another bite.
You get tired of eating. It's like, I don't even want to talk about food.
I did, man. Yeah, it was crazy. But worth it. It's worth it.
All right, so we just before we sat down to record, you had already watched it. I hadn't watched it. I went back and listened. You know, everybody who listens knows. You know, I go through phases where I want to keep up with what's going on with WWE, and then I go through phases where I just don't care. Like stuff is not interesting me, and so I saw, I think on social media that they had given Roman, you know, a unified belt or, you know, undisputed title.
Yeah.
And so I went back on Hulu and fast forwarded to the part where Hunter comes out and presents the title to him. First of all, what are your thoughts on the championship itself?
On
the
belt?
looks of what it...
I think they could have done better. It's just like a basic... I don't know, man. I guess I was expecting something else, and then it just looks like your basic W with undisputed. I think it said undisputed
champion or something.
Bottom. But it just looks like any other.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, you know, I saw where they made that new world title for Raw that Seth has now. I don't think it's pretty at all.
I don't either.
I don't know what they were thinking on the design of that. I don't like the big W in the middle, or WW, whatever it's supposed to be.
Right.
I just don't like it on either title.
Yeah.
I don't really know what they're shooting for. I mean, we know that we're watching WWE.
Yeah.
You know, that don't have to be the big center.
Right.
You know,
I know what you're saying.
I think with the Roman thing and with the bringing in a new world title, which, see, none of this stuff makes sense to me, because before the titles were unified, so Roman had the blue strap, which was the WWE Universal Championship. The black one was the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
And then I believe they just started referring to it once again as the World Heavyweight Championship. And then Roman wins both of them. And now they call it the Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't understand. So why did they go over here and pull another title out of their butts to put on Raw and call it the WWE World Heavyweight title?
I don't know, man.
And what lineage are these titles going in?
Right.
Because they've created so many throughout history now. Why couldn't it have just been?
That's a good question.
Why couldn't, I mean, if they've got to have two titles, why couldn't it have just been the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship like it was back in the day?
It was.
I don't understand why it has to be. I don't understand why they've got to have a. It don't make sense to me. What I would have done personally, and what I wish they would have done, is yes, give Roman a new championship that's one title, undisputed, whatever. I wish it was prettier. I wish, they would have brought back the winged eagle from the early to mid 90s or, late 80s, early 90s, or, maybe something completely different out of the box or whatever. But I wish that they would have just left Roman on top. He is the one undisputed champion, the top champion in the company.
Yeah.
And then under that, you have your Intercontinental title, your U.S. title, your tag champions, and your women's champion. Do they have any other titles?
Just the tags.
Yeah. But I think and I know that they were doing a brand split, so they wanted a champion for both brands. I think it would have been better to have Roman be the one undisputed champion and him be able to bounce back and forth between the brands.
Yeah.
Whoever has that title bounces back and forth between the brands. And then you have the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title on opposite brands.
Yeah.
And then those be what the United States Championship used to mean in like NWA and early WCW. The United States Championship at one time meant that you were the number one contender for the world title.
Right.
So, the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title be the top two belts on each brand, and those guys be the number one contender on their respective brand to get a shot at the undisputed title.
Right. I guess because Rome only works once a month, so they. I mean, that's no way he don't work a whole lot, so it's like.
Well, and to me, I know people don't like this.
But,
to me, he's at a place where he don't have to.
This is true.
To his character and to the championship that he holds, they have built him to such a place where he has so much prestige.
Yeah.
That like the Hogan of back in the day, or I'm trying to think of somebody else, but you think of like Hogan. Hogan rarely ever wrestled on TV.
That's true.
He was a draw on house shows, because you got to see him cut a promo, you got to see his angle be built on TV, but you didn't get to usually see a match unless it was a big, Madison Square Garden show,
right,
or if it was pay-per-view or big Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
He didn't work on every regular TV. And I think that's where they have built Roman, to the place where he don't have to.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I like him being on the TVs. I would say at least 2 or 3 times a month would be my preference. Just to continue building whatever story they're basing around him. But I don't see that he has to have matches on TV.
It seems like they're doing that now. It's like he's making an appearance to keep the story going.
Right.
And when he wrestles, he's on the pay-per-view, or might do a spot or something. But yeah, that makes sense too. I guess because they made the world champion put it on sale. I guess because Hunter said this is going to be a working man's title. He's going to be here. He's going to work. He's going to be on. He's going to.
So basically, you blast your champion that's held the title for 1,000 days that you've been. See, I didn't hear that promo. But I have heard people say that it was something along those lines.
Yeah, when he presented the World Championship, when he first unveiled it, this is going to be the working man's title. It's going to be here for the fans. Yeah, he pretty much.
So he blasted the guy that they've been building for 3 or 4 years.
That's the way I think. It's like, he's not here, so this world champion is going to be here. But the undisputed champion, I don't know.
See, I don't understand. Yeah. And see, I don't understand if Roman. I don't remember there ever being a dispute over who was the Universal Champion.
Right. I don't.
So really now, why is his called the Undisputed Universal Championship? I mean, because nobody ever disputed that he was the Universal Champion.
Right.
So, when I think of Undisputed, I'm thinking of, okay, this guy. Kind of like was it Shawn and Razor? They both had titles.
They had Intercontinental.
Yeah, and so then they had the match to figure out who the real Intercontinental Champion was. That's where I think of Undisputed. I don't recall there ever being a dispute that Roman was the Universal Champion. What I would call it is the Undisputed WWE Champion. Mm-hmm. If anything, because Roman won the Universal title, then he won the WWE World Heavyweight title, which I believe by the time he won it, they were just referring to it as the WWE Championship. Mm. But either way, this is the part that don't make sense to me. You got a Universal title. Originally, it started out with a Universal title and then a World title, and then they brought them together. Why, if this one was a world title that Roman has, Universal title, world title, boom, they're together, why do you pull out another title? See, to me, it seems like today's society, everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah, people are making comments about, just reading different stuff on whatever, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. I do read some of that stuff about the wrestling. It's like, everybody gets a participation trophy, and people are making comments like that, But it makes a lot I don't know, man.
I don't understand, and I'll get heat for saying this. It's not a dig.
Referee, pal.
Yeah, it's not a dig at Rollins.
No,
Rollins is a good worker. Okay. He has some good matches. But, and this is where I'm going to get heat, as far as star power, as far as him being, if they're trying to make the world title of Raw and the undisputed Universal title of SmackDown kind of mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, brother, but Roman's already way left you behind.
There, yeah.
Seth Rollins is like... he's in my opinion, I'm not talking about his work rate. He has good matches and everything, but as far as star power and character, he's way below Roman. Mm-hmm. So it seems to me like, here, let's just give somebody it seems to me like they decided that the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title wasn't prestigious enough to be the top title on each respective brand.
Yeah.
So, we've got to make a new world title over here.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of comments about that. Everybody gets a trophy, and yeah.
But once again, like I was saying a little while ago, what lineage are these titles now? Is the Universal title, does it go back to only to, was it Finn Balor who was the first Universal Champion?
Yeah.
So is the one that Roman has that is looked at as so prestigious now, does it only go back to Finn? Or does it go, because they're talking about it being, oh, he surpassed Pedro and now he's up there with Hogan and
I'm guessing
Bruno.
And that.
So why not just call that the WWE title?
Yeah. Or just the world champion.
Right. See, the way they were originally doing it whenever, they had a world title back in the Evolution era, kind of, when Hunter was the world champion for Raw, it kind of, I think the way they were doing it was like on Raw, the world title, that lineage kind of went back WCW and NWA. Mm-hmm. That's where it traced to. And then the WWE title traced back, throughout history of WWE, WWF, WWF.
Yeah.
That made sense. Whatever is going on now is just really confusing.
Yeah, it's very confusing. My thing is, why don't they just have a world champion? And that's it.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you was world champion or you was United States champion or you going. What I miss the most, what about the World Television Championship? Why has WWE never used? I missed that because you knew you was going to. You knew
the TV champ was going to be working.
He's going to be on TV.
Yeah.
And I meant to ask you just a few weeks ago why WWE never used that World Television title.
I don't know.
AEW has the TNT title, which is kind of like their World Television title or whatever, like being on TV every week.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's just an old school territory thing, just didn't want to. But they brought the U.S. title, from
WCW.
From WCW, but not. They didn't bring the World Television title.
I know. I don't really. There's so much.
Back in the day, you was world champion and you was trying to get that prize.
And that's the way I would book this and lay this out. I would have, like I said originally, have Roman be the one undisputed champion, universal champion, world champion, WWE champion, whatever in the blue tarnation you want to call him. He's the top guy with the top title. And then he goes back and forth between Raw, SmackDown, and even NXT. Mm-hmm. So it's like he is the world champion in the WWE territory, because that's in the territory days. Take a Flair or a Harley Race or, one of the world champions from back in the day, the traveling world champion. That's what they did. They would go to each territory and defend the title against the top guy in that territory, whoever that territory's champion was. So why not have Roman do that? I think you could get a lot more out of, and I think you could get a lot of different stuff out of having him be the main champion and everybody gunning for him. But in order to get to him, you've got to either become the U.S. champion on Raw, the Intercontinental champion on SmackDown, or the NXT champion in NXT, And then you've got, there's so many places that you could go with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway, off the title topic, the Bloodline storyline. So after we watched that, we both said, this is great.
It's great.
Man. There are people who are bored with it because today's microwave society only has a 3-second attention span.
That's true.
But this is long-term booking. This is long-term storytelling. And I love the way they keep adding twists and turns to the Bloodline story.
I love it, man. It's good stuff. Best thing they've done in a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Definitely.
As far as storytelling goes, just letting the story play out, and you think it's going this way, no, it's going this way. And you think it's going that way, no, it's going the other way. I'm like, man, it's good stuff, man. I enjoy it. That's probably the only reason I really keep up with it, to be honest. And then we started talking more about wrestling here, so, I've always been a wrestling fan, so I'm like you, I watch it, but I watch more of the old stuff.
Right.
Still. But I try to keep up with it to see what's happening in today's product or, whatever you want to call it. But
yeah. Speaking of which, I've got to remember to pull up some not old, but, mid to late 90s WCW. Me and you were down at Hope Championship Wrestling this past Saturday.
We need to talk about that. I was going to ask you because everybody wants to know how many bumps you took it because you and Chad were in the three. Y'all are on the same team now.
Yeah.
Now, I counted half a bump.
Half a bump.
You counted a face bump, so that's 1.5 bump. I saw a face bump, but it didn't really register it. I was like, yeah, we'll count that as a bump. But how many did Chad take? Did he take one?
I don't know.
I don't know if he took it.
I would have to watch.
Didn't take no more.
The match is on YouTube. I'll have to watch it back. But it was a 6-man tag. Myself, Chad, Gunner, and Alexander Koloff. Mm-hmm. And, we did a 6-man. And I don't remember, until you pointed it out, I didn't recall that I had only took, I think the only bump that you're referring to was in the end when the dude picks me up for the TKO or, whatever.
He just kind of
dumps me.
It dumps you and you just kind of land on your side. You didn't really do a flat back, but you just kind of like,
yeah.
I don't know I guess he's just trying to.
So I guess if you want to count that as a half a bump, you can count that.
I gave you a bump on that one.
Oh, okay.
But in my mind, but I'll give you a full bump because you kind of just, I don't know what the guy was just trying to. You didn't really, the way he threw you, it's like you just kind of land on your side and didn't do a flat. This way, I don't know what he was trying to do, just flip you over or slam you or whatever.
Yeah.
I said, that's a half a bump. Well, we'll give him I call it a bump.
Yeah.
I was aggravated, so we'll call it half a bump because he really had that on the side and stuff.
Yeah.
But then you said, I took a face bump. I took a flare.
Well, I think
Did you?
That was what I was referring to.
Okay.
Was the face bump or side bump. However, I didn't remember how I landed on that, but I know it wasn't on my back.
That wasn't on your back. No.
But so if
more
you,
like your side. So.
Maybe that's a bump or maybe a half a bump. Either way.
But yeah, it was good. You only took half a bump.
Hey, I really enjoyed being down there.
All in all, it's a good show, man.
Yeah. So
it was.
You managed Matthew Oliver Peppercorn in a 3-way dance with Buck Manson and Rod the Bod Houston.
Yeah.
That was
a triple threat first match. It was good. Bring back the coach, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. And then, of course, that show kicked off Chad's Final Four.
Final Four, yeah.
So now he's down to 3, and I don't have the dates in front of me. I know his last one will be August 27th in Salisbury, North Carolina. But this Hope Championship Wrestling show for our buddy Marty Miller, it kicked off his Final Four, the retirement tour, or whatever you want to call it. But sad to see him go. But man, he's had a good career. He's a good brother, and
it was good to be there. Good to see him again because it's been a while since I saw him. But man, it was a good show.
He told me right before we went out the curtain. I think for the promo spot at the beginning, or maybe it was before the match. I can't remember, but we're standing there waiting for the music, and he goes, being here now. It was because the guy, I believe the guy announced, that this was kicking off his Final Four, and Chad looks at me and he goes, it's actually starting to sink in that I'm retiring now.
I don't know, man. I always ask, do you really retire?
Yeah. I think he will. In wrestling, everything's a gimmick. Everything's a work.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to say, ha, I got you, we can. But I don't know that he will. I don't believe he'll be, like Ric Flair, 75 or whatever, and and having his last match.
Yeah, I'm glad I was there for at least one of those Final Four.
Yeah,
matches. I know his last one's in August. 27th, I think.
Yes.
And I was trying to work out where I could be there, but I think most of my vacation. Take his cruise we went on. I had to use like 60 hours anyway.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can make it out to it. I know y'all talked about going, and Dana and Riley Boy talked about trying to be there for that.
Yeah. I know several of us that are going to be there. And I want to go ahead and mention, too, I just saw they just announced at Hope Championship Wrestling, Nikita Koloff, Alexander Koloff, they will be part of WrestleCade this year, so in November. So be looking for that. That's a great thing because, Marty, he runs a show. It's, similar to what we did with GWM. It's about, having good family-friendly wrestling, but also using it as a ministry to share Jesus with others. And that's always, I've always enjoyed working for him, working the show, and just the environment. It's like the GWM locker room. You can tell it's a different atmosphere.
That was my first time being there for that. And man, it was just, everybody was professional and just, it was good. Yeah, it felt like being at a GWM show, and just, I really enjoyed it. I did, man. So let's have a little fun here. Got a question for you. It's WrestleMania, all right? Next WrestleMania. It's Casey Cage versus Gunner. Who's going over?
Well,
first of all, who's doing the booking? I thought about this. I was like, well, who's doing the booking? We'll see who Casey says is going over.
Well,
this is WrestleMania. It could be the next whatever. We're just throwing out the question out there.
Okay, so it's got to be me because he's retired.
Yeah.
You do the favors, you do the honors on your way out. So.
That's a good point, yeah.
Oh.
But I thought I'd ask that question. Have a little fun, who's going over?
That would be fun. I wouldn't really care if we were both on WrestleMania and getting a WrestleMania payday. That's what I care about.
As long as the coach is refereeing the match, pal, I'm in.
That would be a good one. WrestleMania. What is the next one? WrestleMania 40.
It's 40, right?
Casey Cage versus Gunner, or I guess he would have to go back to Jackson Riker.
Who's going over?
Coach reffing. I don't really care who goes over. Just pin me, pay me,
if
baby.
I get a payday, any kind of payday, I'll do whatever you want me to do, buddy.
That's it. That's it.
Anyway, thought we'd have a little fun with that. Anything else, man, on wrestling? We can talk about wrestling.
No, I don't think I got anything right on top of my heart or my head on wrestling. I believe we've exhausted it.
We got the retreat coming up.
Yes.
Probably mention that, and just I'm looking forward to it, man. Just seeing what the Lord's going to do this year.
Yeah. The Remnant Youth Retreat, August 4th through 6th. We are definitely, like Coach said, looking forward to that. Ages 12 to 18, we are currently full, but we do have a waiting list. If you would like to get your teenager on there, email us at wrestlingforthefaith@gmail.com and give us their information. And then if anybody has to cancel out and we have a spot open up, then you will be first in line to get in the retreat. But yeah, this year, last year we did it at Camp Agape in Benton, Tennessee. This year we're down the road a little bit at the Ocoee Ridge Camp in Old Fort. It's a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
And
it's very beautiful though out there, man. Just looking over at the mountains.
Yeah. When me and you went and looked over the property and looked at the cabins, overlooking, we walked out on the back decks, and it's, the decks are, tall and just overlooking the valley and the mountains surrounding and everything. And we both walked out there and looked and said, this is where we worship.
This is it, man. this is it. Yeah.
All of us kicked back on that deck. Somebody, Timbo or whoever, we has an instrument. If anybody has an instrument, if not, we're singing, without them. But it's going to be a place of peace and solitude to just connect with the Lord.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll have After Amen podcast. We'll have the Stroops there.
Yeah,
Mom and Dad there this time.
Yeah,
they helping us, and
they're excited.
We're just kingdom family, man. It's not about one person, just about just feeding in these young adults, and just they got the green light to be who Christ says they are, man.
That's right.
I wish somebody told me that a long time ago, and
that's exactly right.
Do better, try harder, and know who you are, man.
Yeah, know who you are and go be spirit led.
Yeah, exactly. You got permission.
Yeah. And so, that's what we're trying to pour into these kids. And so, also, we are accepting donations. If you would like to donate, like many are donating financially, which is fine. Whatever, will be used to pay for the property use and, food and everything else for the weekend. If you would like to donate financially, you can do so on Cash App and Venmo. Cash App is the $C Stanfield Ministries. Venmo is at C Stanfield Ministries. And, if you are a food company and you would like to just donate food or water or whatever, reach out to us, wrestlingforthefaith@gmail.com. And, we definitely appreciate all of the help, the financial support, the prayers. This ain't just us, and it's not just the ones who are going to be there pouring into the kids. If you're praying and you're donating to this cause, you're involved, you're helping.
You're part of it.
So, but last year was an amazing time, and I'm just looking forward to having the same thing or maybe even better this year.
Just the connections we made last year, and we're all still connected in some way,
Exactly.
Just became family. I mean, we're all over the place.
Right.
Kingdom families everywhere.
That's it. And, we've got, I mentioned Terry earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Terry, he will be flying in for this. He says he can't miss it. And praise the Lord for that. I'm excited to have him. Like you said, the Stroops, Bill Raynard will be back. And
saw Bill this past weekend. Shout out to Bill.
Yes, sir.
At the wrestling show Saturday night. I walked up and I was like, he's like, hey, I said, man, because I saw on his, he's posting, he's on with some of the fellas from Man Camp reunion. I didn't know he was going to be there, and I walked, man, that's Bill. What you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Just, man.
They, they showed up.
Finally met his wife. Nice family, man.
They showed up Saturday night and surprised us. Had a little Man Camp reunion. Of course, the last the one in April of 2022 that, Chad and I went to was, myself.
There's quite a few people
Bill,
from there, right?
And
I saw them with the shirt.
They were, several of them were there Saturday night. So, that was a good reunion, getting to see those guys again. But man, looking forward to the Remnant Youth Retreat. Hey, before we get out of here, I don't know if this is a mistake or not, but I guess we need to tell everyone that our wives have started a podcast.
I was going to. Lord, I think it's payback. I think it started so they could pay us back.
Yeah, and I'm going to be listening closely. So that podcast is Tanya Stroop, my wife Jonna, Coach's wife, Dana. It's the Kingdom Sisters podcast. You can find it on all platforms. I'm going to be listening closely to this, because if it turns into just a hen pecking session, and for those who don't know what that means, if you ain't from the deep South like us, a hen pecking session is just a gossip session.
Yeah.
And so, if it just becomes a hen pecking session, then, I'm going to call them out. And we might have to have a Wrestling for the Faith versus Kingdom Sisters war.
We know you'll call them out for sure. But, yeah, check it out. Hope you guys, I know you'll enjoy it.
All of our podcast network.
Sisters out there. Yeah. And brothers who want to listen to it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's funny how the Lord is just, wrestling and Jesus and podcasting. I don't know how it's happened, but everybody check out all of the great podcast in this, I guess you'd call it a network, but we're not actually networking together. But, we're, Wrestling for the Faith, Testimonies with Terry, After Amen, Kingdom Sisters. Am I missing any?
I think that's it, right?
I think, the kids will probably start one soon, and the dogs and the cats will start one, and we'll just it'll just continue to evolve.
After there might have one.
Hey, that's great. Anyway, guys, we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to the Remnant Youth Retreat. Be praying for us, and we thank everyone for your support. Guys, we love you. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for listening to Wrestling for the Faith. Don't forget to follow Casey Cage on Twitter at RealCaseyCage. Follow Chad Lale on Twitter at CWLale_Gunner. And follow the show at Facebook.com/Wrestling for the Faith.